So while the average host in Dubai is probably sitting in a cafe in the marina, plagued by the fear of an unannounced DTCM inspection, the top 1% of operators are moving at pace that literally seems impossible. Now they are onboarding units, signing contracts and scaling portfolios while everyone else is paralyzed by what ifs. Now if you've watched episode number 1, you have already understand the 25% model and why we refuse to compete with the newcomers. The co-hosting is about leveraging millions of pounds of asset with zero capital risk. But here is the reality. You cannot scale an illegal business. Most people in Dubai are absolutely winging it, and in 2026, that is the fastest way to get hit with massive fines. Now today, we are layering the legal foundation over the business model we built in the first session. Now we are moving from being a host to a licensed operator, ensuring that while everyone else, hopefully not shutting down, but shutting down, your portfolio is fully protected. Now this is the great filter, and here is how you pass it. Now welcome back. Piers BK here from GrowYourBNB.com. Now if you've watched the episode number 1, you understand the co-hosting business model in general. Now we are diving into the legal framework today, and pay attention because this information will save you tens of thousands of dirhams in fine. Now first, let's talk about the 2 legal tracks for operating in Dubai. Track number 1 is individual host. You own a property, you list it yourself, obviously you manage it yourself, and this is the simplest structure, although you still need the right legals. Track number 2 is a professional hosting and subleasing. You're managing property for other people, again subleasing or management, and you are running a business. This requires a proper licensing, and here's most people mess up. They start managing properties for others without understanding the professional structure. So you cannot legally manage someone else's property in Dubai without the right business setup. Absolutely not anymore, and not in 2026. The Department of Economy and Tourism is literally cracking down, literally hard, right? And so what do you actually need? First, a trade license. This is your business license from DET, and you'll need a specific activity code under holiday homes management or a short-term rental management. Now the cost is around anywhere between 15,000 to 20,000 AED, and to set up properly, including all fees and approvals. Yes, that's an investment, but it's a non-negotiable investment if you're doing this professionally. Now next, every single property you manage, you need a DTCM holiday home permit. So here's the DTCM process. Now I'd like you to pay attention because this is so crucial part of the business. Step number 1 is the title deed. The property must be fully owned. The title deed must be in the owner's name, and you need a copy of that. Step number 2, the DUR bill. This proves that the property has a active utilities. Now DTCM wants to see the recent bills. Step number 3, landlord NOC. If the owner isn't the original freeholder, you need a no objection certificate from the master developer or freeholder. And this is where many applications fail. Getting NOCs from developers can take up to weeks. And step number 4, property inspection. Now DTCM may physically inspect the property. They check fire safety standards, they check fire extinguisher, emergency exits, building compliances, and making sure that your property is fully ready. Step number 5, submit everything through the DTCM portal, pay the fee, wait for the approval, and hoping that the permit will come through. Obviously there is a cost between, I think, something like 1,500 to 2,500 dirhams per property annually, depending on the size. Now this process could take 2 to 4 weeks if everything's correct. Now once approved, you get permit number. Now you need to display it on your listings. Now by law, you must show this number on all your marketing. Now here's something critical. It's called the Tourism Dirham. So every guest staying in Dubai pays a tourism fee. It could be anywhere between 10 to 20 dirhams per night, depending on the property type and classification. Now you collect it from the guest and you remit to DTCM by I think 15th of each month. And if you miss a deadline, you are definitely getting a fine, and that adds up very fast. Now look, you need to set up a system for this. Use a property management software that calculates, tracks the tourism fee automatically, and don't handle this manually. You'll mess up and you'll end up getting a fine. Now let's talk about 2026 specifically. The market is shifting. For years, Dubai was all about tourists, short stays, weekend trips, holiday bookings, and that is changing fast. Why? Because Dubai is attracting a lot of long-term residents now. Remote workers, digital nomads, international professionals relocating, and these people need housing for 1 to 6 months, and they don't want to go in a hotel. They don't want annual leases, and this is where the opportunity is exploding. Now, areas like JVC, Business Bay, Dubai Hills, even some part of Jumeirah are seeing a massive increase in demand on that 30-90 days bookings. And the nightly rates is slightly lower with the tourists compared to the tourists, but look, the occupancy rate's higher, the revenue is consistent, the guest quality is often better, plus the long-term guests have less work for you. One guest for 3 months versus 15 different guests over that time, right? Much easier as a host. And the smart co-host in 2026 are positioned for this market. Now let's talk about compliance as a marketing tool. So most hosts sees permits and regulation as annoying requirements, and that's a wrong mindset because your permit number is your best marketing asset. Now when guests sees a DTCM permit displayed on your listing, they know that you're legitimate. They feel safe booking. They trust you more than the competitors without any permits. Now list your permit number in your website, in your description, in your house manual, and make it so obvious that you are fully legal and compliant. Now this matters more than you think, especially for corporate bookings and long-term guests. The companies booking accommodation for their employees, they are looking or using permitted properties, and they need it for insurance purpose and liability reasons. Now your permit opens door to high-value guests. Now here's what you need to understand about DTCM classification. And look, it's quite interesting because the properties are classified from basic to luxury. Now there's 1 pearl and there's 5 pearls rating. Your classification affects your tourism dirham amount, and it affects your positioning. It also affects the pricing power. So a 5 pearl property can charge premium rates, and a basic classification probably limits you. The classification is based on amenities, the size, the quality, the location, and you can apply for reclassification if you upgrade the property. Now this is where your property setup services comes in handy. You can help owners understand that investing probably up to 20,000 dirham in upgrade could potentially increase the classification and hopefully boost your revenue by 20 to 30%. And that's how you make money, right? Because the owner actually makes more money, and that is where the win-win situation comes in. So right, now let's talk about insurance, because nobody discusses this properly. You need 2 types of insurance: business liability insurance for your co-hosting business and your property insurance for each of the listing covering short-term rental use. Now, many standard home insurance policies absolutely excludes short-term lettings, and I talk about this in the UK market too, right? The property could literally burn down and the insurance will literally refuse to pay you because of how it was being used. So make sure your owners understands this. Help them get a proper coverage. Now build it into your onboarding process, because this is exactly why you need to protect everyone, including yourself, right? And now here's something most hosts miss: the QR code initiative. Now DTCM is actually implementing QR code that link to your permit and property details, and guests can scan everything instantly. Now this is coming in 2026, and I can understand why they do it, because look, you want to get ahead of it now. You can start putting that as a process if you'd like. And when you're setting up this property, create a visible QR code for the guest, link it to your permit details, your house rules, probably even emergency contact details, and show the guest that you are a professional, you're compliant from the moment absolutely walk into your property. Let's talk about the reality of enforcement. And the DTCM has inspectors, they do check on listing, they cross-reference Airbnb and booking.com against the permit in their database, right? So what does that say to you? If you're operating without a permit, which I'd like to say now you don't, or you can't, you're eventually going to get caught, and you're going to get fined starting from like something like 10,000 dirhams. So, and they can potentially even probably go up to 500,000 if you do a repeat offense. So why get banned from operating? It's not worth the risk. Get legal, stay legal. So look, I would like to put some action plans from this video. First, if you're serious about co-hosting, and professionally by the way, make sure you start getting a DET trade license process like started immediately. Find probably a business setup consultant, because it's going to be quicker and they're going to help you do it properly. And you're probably looking at anywhere between 15,000 to 20,000 dirham right now. Secondly, create a DTCM compliance checklist, right? You can find it online, ChatGPT, but every property you need to take on needs to meet this requirement before you start marketing it. And thirdly, set up a Tourism Dirham tracking system. Use a software. Don't do this manually. Fourthly, why don't you research on the mid-term market in Dubai? Look, a 30-day minimum bookings, those kind of bookings, if you study how to get them and you know how you can occupy, you're going to be in a win. And lastly, get a proper insurance sorted for your business first, and then for each of the property you'll be onboarding. Now do these 5 things and you are already ahead of 95% of hosts in Dubai. You're professional, you are legal, you are protected. Now in the next video, we are talking about scaling and how to go from 1 property to 10 property, how to build systems that works for you while you sleep, how to create a direct booking engine that reduce your dependence on Airbnb and booking.com. And that's where the real money is actually made. But you need to understand this is the foundation first, right? Legal structure, compliance setup, properly done, fully set up. Get this right and scaling becomes very easy. So guys, make sure you subscribe now and make sure you don't miss any of this 3 episodes. I obviously promote a lot of stuff in my Instagram at GrowYourBNB, obviously my personal one, Piers BK. And if you want help on a very specific situation, book a call with our team. And as long as you qualify and you have a fully operating business, we can jump in a scheduled call and hopefully give you some solution. The link is in the description for you to book. See you in the next one.